In 1972, Peruvian exotica vocalist performer Yma Sumac made a comeback with the psychedelic rock album Release, and from it, the fiery opener, Remember. Okay, hear those sizzling guitars and just that kind of overall trebly sound and just her vocal. You've heard nothing yet as far as her voice. Imagine wordless, gargling. Yeah, she was one of the pioneers of really avant-garde female vocals in recorded music. You can tell who, like Dagmar Krause, Nina Hagen, Lena Lovitch, Daniel Dax, who they were listening to. Hear her hold that note. God, I was just wondering how long is she going to hold that thing? Am I? I think she had like what, an 8-octave range. Oh, hear that sizzling, fiery guitar and that some of that funky organ, thick organ coming in. This has got a unique sound to it in that some of the effects are kind of slightly backdated for 1972, yet it has the musical intricacy that you wouldn't have gotten like say 4 or 5 years earlier on a rock album. It's got chops, it's got interplay, it's got counterpoint, and yet it also has some of those creative, colorful like effects of like the psychedelic era. And the arrangements are by her old trusty musical director, Les Baxter. Yeah. Oh, hear how low her voice can go. It's just, and then. That was not a synthesizer. That was her going way up high. God, higher than a flute could go. Really making an instrument of her voice. There are moments where it almost doesn't sound like a voice. Okay, who are we hearing? Let's see, that trusty beat we've got there, Skippy Switzer. Who I guess, well, 9 credits according to Scogs, went on to play with Neil Norman and his Cosmic Orchestra, greatest science fiction hit, say. Oh, and played on a late period Ezra Mohawk album. And guitar, yeah, really dominating here, Chuck Cohen. The Coen brothers. And let's see, Oregon Richard Person. This album is his only credit. And bass Roger Cohen. I guess related, I would imagine. And this is the Coen brothers, yeah. And produced by Les Baxter, who produced Yma's debut album, The Voice of Extabay, back in 1950. I hear her just like flare up like that. Now the thing right there, that's about as high as most female singers can go, and she's gone a lot, but Yma's gone a lot higher, like 2 octaves higher than that on this. I wonder if she enjoyed this album or if it was just kind of pushed on her. I'd like to think that she was enjoying this. It sounds pretty inspired to me. I'm going to assume that she really got into this, despite the stereotype of people born in the early 20s. She was born in 1922, so she would have been 50 when this album came out. And because like rock post-dated that generation, you know, and this sounds way too inspired, and she even there's the chance that they record her vocals separately and she wasn't hearing. Now it kind of has sort of a ghostly sound. A bit of double tracking, I think. A little bit of echo, bit of like kind of fluttering, kind of apparition-like. Crafty bass work that I perhaps didn't point out earlier. I kind of just understated in the background. As things fade, it kind of got a little bit more prominent. Yeah, well, a lot of points of interest there. I mean, Yma definitely the star of that recording, but given some really serviceable backup with some very sizzling and colorful, spiky sounds, and yeah, bringing Yma into the 1970s, into the rock era, and making her definitely a force to be reckoned with for, well, at least serving as an influence of things to come. I mean, by the late 70s, there would be a whole host of female singers propping up in Europe, in the UK, you know, purveying vocals. No one could match her because no one had quite that octave range or that ability to experiment in such kind of like non-singy type ways. But anyway, yeah, Yma, one of the most dazzling and ahead of her time performers of the 1950s, had a real like exotic type of expression and manner, and her look too, just that really stenciled look and everything. Yeah, and she made it to age 80. Yeah, she passed away in 2008 at age 86. So lived a long life, and I guess this was her final. Yeah, it was her final album. Although I do believe she remained in showbiz for a number of years after this. Yeah. Anyway, for more rubies and sapphires from the catalog of Yma Sumac, see the directory of albums by Spanish American for artists from the Spanish Americas, where you can find albums by artists from, well, pretty much the Spanish Americas, Peru, her nation, like Colombia, Chile, Venezuela, Uruguay, Argentina. It's Argentina claiming the bulk of it, and then a few countries in Central America as well. Yeah. Like and subscribe. Follow me on social media. Share the video and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the track we just heard, the instrumentation, the guitar tone, and most importantly, the vocals and her amazing vocal range and acrobatics, experimentation, and just overall unique, exotic presentation. Yeah. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most air travel trim maximalist, signing off.